Say hello to Noah Allen, 2025 right-hander from North Oconee and USA Scout, and as of just a few weeks ago, a Georgia commit. Noah, man, good to see you, and thanks for the time.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. McCartney, for having me on. It means a lot to me and my family.
Absolutely. So let's get into it. October 19th, you make it official. You are headed to Athens to put on that G and be a Bulldog. Take me inside the decision. Why Georgia, and when did you know that that was the spot for you?
Oh, for sure. It started last year. Commit to the G. It's my hometown. I've always wanted to represent the G on my chest, and I don't take it, that burden lightly. It's not a burden, but it's for sure a privilege.
It's an impressive class. I mean, when you think about the one that you're part of here, including 5 of the top 17 players in Georgia in 2025, you got Ty Peoples, Daniel Pierce, Dean Livingston, Josh Gibbs, Avery Shiflett. Have you already kind of had a chance to start building those relationships with those guys far before
Yes,
you
sir.
even
A
get to
little bit.
campus?
Dean Livingston. For sure, an amazing kid, an amazing pitcher. I work with Full Count, Georgia. An amazing place to work out. Just that bond, being in the weight room kind of, and being over there doing circuits and throwing with them. I feel like my relationship with them has gotten a whole lot better. Not that wasn't good before, but it's awesome to have a friend, an hour away.
Have you guys talked about, man, this is what it's going to be like when we get there? I mean, I'm sure you've had conversations before the commitment, but what have they been like since you decided to put it out there that you're committed to Georgia?
For sure. It was like a 1-2 punch when it came up. Just being with an amazing kid and another kid that, I can lean on, has my back. We push each other to be great. Good, not great. Good's the enemy of great. So for sure, it's all about being great, not just good.
I want to get into the player that the Bulldogs are getting, but first, you were a member of Team Georgia for this past summer's Future Games. What did you learn about yourself as a pitcher during that experience? Because outside of the occasional travel team, I mean, those lineups, you may not see a lineup that's that deep until you get to college.
For sure, I learned a lot about myself. It wasn't the outing that I wanted, but you learn how to become a man. You man up and you take up. You stand in your boots. You stand firm on your ground. When you get up there and kids, might smack a ball left or right, but it is what it is. You got to compete, shove it down the throat, and attack the zone.
I always think it's interesting talking to pitchers who have done the Future Games because, for a batter, he gets up there, he's obviously facing, the batter's eye, facing the outfield, but you guys got to deal with just it's just coach after coach after coach that are behind home plate for these Future games. What is that experience like? And kind of when you go into it, how do you compartmentalize and kind of do your thing without kind of letting the moment and the environment take you over?
Yeah, the environment, you kind of think of it not being, what can go wrong, but, think about all the positives that can come out of it, for sure. With all those coaches back there, when I got on the mound, you just think that, they're just dads, friends or dads, and you just throw to the mitt. You're just playing catch at the end of the day. It's a game. I just kind of like to keep it like that. It's a game, mentally, it makes it a little bit easier for me.
So let's get inside that arsenal that has made you the 12th ranked righty in Georgia in the class, 36th ranked player overall. I know the fastball is into the 90s. You got the slider, you got the changeup. Anything else that you've been working on?
No, sir. Just command, shoving it down the throat, own your craft is the main thing. Two seam, I like to run it in right across the tracks, right on the inside, and I can control it whether it goes horizontally or vertically. Just choking it a little bit more, putting a thumb, turns it a little bit more vertical. Putting the thumb a little bit farther back can make it a little bit more horizontal. Throw that for sure, middle in, down in the zone. Then I go into my four seam. Oh, super high spin rate, plays well, belt high up in the zone, a little bit outside, gets up to 2,500 RPMs, but for sure, I like to dominate with that.
What do you feel like is the best secondary pitch?
Oh, best. So secondary is definitely my slider. I throw it across the tracks, so two seam, right across the tracks. I'm holding it. And I'll always be aware of the stamps on the ball. So when I throw it, it spins like this, like a bullet. And if there's a stamp there, it gives it away. So I make sure it's on the white. And when I throw that thing and it spins up, 3,000 RPMs, it's dominating, it's disgusting, and it's for sure my best secondary pitch.
What do you feel like is the next level for you? I know you talked about command, but is there a velo number that you got your eye on? Is it better use of tunneling? What's that next level for you as a pitcher?
Being more consistent, I would say. Just being able to repeat pitch after pitch after pitch, and after that's outing after outing. But besides that, I mean, if there's a number I want to chase, it's just through the ceiling. I mean, for sure, when I get into college, I want to be upwards of like 100, hopefully. But as of right now, I'm going to enjoy where my feet are at. I'm going to embrace the journey. So right now, I'm at 93. But for sure, it's more about what are my goals in the weight room and what are my goals eating rather than a number.
Take me through kind of the workload for you right now. I mean, obviously, we're just a little bit away from Thanksgiving. You guys obviously then have your ramp up session before we get into the next high school season. What's the process for you right now?
So right now, I mean, I have a mound in my garage, so I like to do dry runs whenever I get a time where I get home or right before I go to school. When I go to school, first period, 8 a.m., weightlifting, hit it hard early in the morning, wakes you up pretty good. I mean, it's probably the most fun. We turn up in there and we have fun. I mean, it's just a bunch of dudes. After that, get a little bit more academic stuff, but we have this thing called Titan Time, and I like to watch myself. So that's kind of like my video time where I like to break down myself and see what I'm doing, right and wrong. After that, I like to go after school, long toss. Either it's at North Oconee for sure. Working with Coach Dimitrov has been a real blessing. Trying to fix my mechanics or craft them and tune them up just a little bit. After that, if I'm not going to North, I really like going to Full Count. That's where I talked about meeting Dean Livingston. And for sure, I mean, it's just a bunch of dudes in there. I mean, tons of, I think there's 4 or 5 Georgia commits, a couple of Georgia Tech. I know there's some Georgia Southern dudes in there, but I mean, a high quality place where dudes get together to compete. I mean, talk about an environment that you want to be around. I mean, it's a place to be. After that, I come home. I like to pound calories. I mean, for sure, like eggs, chicken. Then for sure after that, I mean, sleep's very important. If you can't sleep and you don't know how to get in your hours in sleeping, then you're not going to recover, and all that's going to be a waste. So, I mean, I like to go to bed pretty early and try to get 10 hours.
All right, give me a scouting report for the Titans for the upcoming season. Why are you guys going to reach that ultimate goal of competing for a state championship?
It's the brotherhood for sure. I mean, it's not that, we're a couple dudes that grind out at bats and grind out pitches next to next to next. I mean, it's just past the stick mentality, and guys are going to step up, and we're going to be the best team that we can be, both in the dugout and outside of it.
You're obviously coming into your own as a pitcher now, but when you were coming up, who were those guys that you looked to, be it, guys you watched at the collegiate level, guys you watched at the major league level? Who were those ones that, you kind of looked at and said, man, that's how you get it done?
For sure. I mean, Kumar Rocker went to my high school, Bubba Chandler. I mean, those are the high school guys that are around in my area. Collegiately, I mean, that's a hard decision. I mean, Kevin Cops for Arkansas, that was a big dude for sure. I mean, the way how he just dominated on the mound back in the day. After that, I mean, in the league right now, Tyler Glass now, I mean, a big, tall, lanky pitcher, likes to pitch like me. Then I'd say probably Joe Kelly after that with a nasty attitude. And that's one thing I like to pride myself on the mound, is not trying to get too high or too low, but for sure having that dog in me.
Okay, so let's kind of go off that for a second. That how do you deal with when something doesn't go right if you allow yourself to kind of be led by emotion when you're on the mound?
So Coach Lass likes to say, play with emotion, not emotional. So you take that to heart and you get on the mound, and you know that everything that you've prepared to do, it's going to work out then. And if it doesn't, so be it. You next batter, same thing with passing the stick. I mean, for sure, I got my guys behind me, and they're going to have my back no matter what. And that's the brotherhood that I was talking about for sure. But I mean, it's just a mental game, and pitching's 90% mental, if not 100. So I mean, just knowing that I got my guys behind me.
Well, no, man, that's great stuff. Thank you so much, man. Wishing you all the best as you get ready for the upcoming season, and man, congrats again on the commitment to Georgia.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. It was awesome talking to you.